All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the official trade. Well, let's get that off. Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel, where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you become a better trader. We're going to talk about Bitcoin today. Let me know if the music's too loud or anything like that, please, in the chat. And I'm just getting everything situated still, so give me 1 moment. What's up? Tino ain't got shit on Trade Talk. You tell him, Wes. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Sounds good. Perfect. Let's roll. So there is a longer term buying signal on Bitcoin right now, but I mean, to buy anything when it's in a severe downtrend is a little bit risky. But we are looking for a bullish bounce. Let's go talk about last week. Why are we doing this live? Well, it's easier. I've already deleted like 13 attempts to make today's upload, so we're just going to do it live, if the internet permitteth me so. So here we go. Let's do this. Last week, we had this push lower. We discussed it in last week's live stream. We were looking for a potential push into the midpoint of last week's decline. We did get that, and I mean, it was a fantastic signal. And if you took it, kudos. But I do hope you did take profits, because this is trading up. So if your stop is setting above that and you got short, it looks like the price is hunting you now. Whereas price has been hunting all the longs stops. Looks like we may start to see the that reverse. These candles are not massively big. In fact, once you put in this, what looks like a nice reversal candle, it's just been sideways, essentially. Not really going anywhere. I mean, it's in a $3,000 range, but, you know, that's typical for Bitcoin, I guess. But 5 days going straight sideways, pretty much, after this decline, it's just weird. You would think you would see a massive pop, but we're not getting that. Let's go out here to the 2 week real fast so we can look at this. You do have excuse me, let me get rid of that. We do have hidden bullish divergence on the 2 week time frame. I'm not a divergence trader, but it is a signal nonetheless. There is 1 day and 1 hour left on this candle, and you can see the way it's shaped now. It does not appear that you're going to see a lower low on this candle within 1 day, right? It's a 2 week time frame. So unless you get a nasty bearish day today or tomorrow, this is going to be intact, this signal. So you got higher lows on that, and then over here you got lower lows here, which that's the wrong line. There. So from this, not this one, damn it, screwed it up again. There to here, same area. And then we'll just make it bigger so you can see it. You can see lower low on your RSI. So that is hidden bullish divergence. So yeah, that's a potential tradable event. So that's another reason why this week coming, we're going to be looking for bullish entries. The target that I want to target for now looks like it's probably going to get hit without giving me an entry. I haven't gotten a solid entry on that yet. We did get a fantastic entry yesterday morning, but I was watching other trades and I missed it. And I really wish I wouldn't have, because it was like fantastic. And that's it right there. So you got your demand zone right here coming in on the hourly at 36,210 spot 87. I mean, boom. And then boom. Like, that's what we look for. That is what you would call a bullish reaction off of a level. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Ray. Good morning, everybody. We definitely want to close the month above 35K to not set a lower low on the monthly. Yeah, definitely, for sure. I agree. But you had 3 solid months of straight trending to the downside. So, I mean, the monthly's almost over too. There's 2 days left on it. You're going to take out this monthly support right here. but it looks like you're going to close above this monthly support. This is the main monthly support like you're speaking of. You don't want to lose that, because then the next target is going to be the yearly lows, not this year, last year, 2021's lows. So, and then the only thing after that is your old all-time high. And if people are assuming that Bitcoin's not going to test its old all-time high, you definitely want to see those old year or the last year's lows, when they get taken out, an instant reversal. It's not very much further down to get to the old all-time high. And Bitcoin has never done that. So it does look like, even though if this is the beginning of the bear market, you're 3 months into it. I mean, you could see a couple of months of sideways, right? Bullish months that just close up and around, anywhere between 55,000 and 35,000. That'll be your range, potentially, longer term. So a lot of chop, a lot of sideways price action. Fantastic stuff for traders. That's what we want, especially if there's volatility in the mix. That definitely helps us out. Anyone else cut out? Yeah, you might have. I got terrible internet, but it was good enough, so I decided to go live this morning. Excuse me. So this is going to be the near-term bullish target. Was that swing low? We're gonna fib that out as well. So the 618 fibs, let's get it back up, so that way we can basically get what we're looking for here. This is last week's range. So that's 618. Excuse me once. Damn it. All right. So that 618 will be another target at 39,885. That puts you well underneath any daily support, any weekly support. I mean, you have a free run up to that, is what I'm trying to say. And that's why you've seen multiple green candles in a row. It's just a free run. I'd say most of the sell side is done at this point for a little while, hopefully. Just taking shorts all the time isn't that fun. We wanted some volatility, some decent entries. This morning, yeah, so 39,000 will be next week's target. This is going to be your near-term target right there. Yeah, that red candle's high. This is going to be next week's target. Once you get up into resistance, if you get up into resistance, you might see a little bit of resistance. Just buy. Is the monthly retest of Heath demand zone, is it a monthly retest of the Heath demand? Yes. Yep. It's here. But see, the thing is with these bigger time frames, the monthlies and the 2 weeks, is it's very difficult to pinpoint an entry on that. But yeah, you've tested it and you are above it. So yeah, it could be potentially a buying opportunity. The only problem is you got your all of your momentum is heading down. Right? It's heading down. So next week's or next month's low, or last month's low, could potentially see some resistance. And then you got that old support in that area. So if we do bounce from here, that's why I'm looking up near the 40K regions. It's going to the 2 week time frame. So that's lower than the 2 week. I was potentially looking for that bullish candle to be retested eventually. Remember, it could take weeks for that to happen. But I was eventually looking for this to be retested. Because it wasn't. Once you dropped from it, you never retested it. Oh, you did on a daily. My bad. You did on a daily. So never mind on that. But it's as high as it could go. It could go higher as well. Alright, so let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Let's go here to the 2 hour zone real fast. See what Bitcoin's doing. Oh yeah, the 8 hour. The 8 hour is where we currently have our ranges set in here. So this is for the near term. Here's 8-hour res. You're trying to break out above that right now. Fantastic. I mean, you tested it. Then you had another session where you closed higher. I mean, it's a given, right? That's when you're looking for it to break eventually. And it's going up there right now, 38,189. 8-hour support is also 4-hour support here at 36,072. So this could be the near-term range if it does indeed reject after sniping these highs. If it snipes that and then rejects, this will be a pretty good area to look for buying, in my opinion. You can see here that it is a 4-hour support. This is a breakdown, but it is a trap. There is this, you took out the high of that candle, so that is a trap. We do not use the trap candle as support. We use the old support level that the trap candle baited people into. You can see that it was retested here, here, and here, and it held. So that is your support level, $36,072.93. So if price does come back down there, that would be a good spot to look for potential buying opportunities. Let's see how many frames we're dropping. Not bad. I don't know what YouTube's talking about. What are you talking about, YouTube? We're good. So yeah, there it is. 4-hour breaking out above 4-hour res. There is a 4-hour supply zone right there. So we're not looking to buy this up in here, guys. We wait for Bitcoin to pull back. We buy those retracements if it holds support. You are trying to buy an asset that is in a downtrend, so be warned. I did take 2 attempts on it last week, and both of those attempts were terribly, terribly stopped out. They wasn't even close to making money. It looks fantastic right now. I love it. Love it, love it. It's not got a lot of momentum, though. That's for sure. Let's drop down here to the 5-minute and just see what it's doing intraday. Yeah, sideways. Is it going to break out? Is it going to go? Yeah, so there's going to be, that's going to be the range. Yeah, it's going to, it looks like it wants to go. It definitely does. Let's go look at some alts. See what's going on in the altcoin world right now on the KuCoin. Let's see if there's any big movers. We got a 6% gain there. 8% on ENS. 9. This thing's moving right now. Like right now. Getting a pop. Ethereum name service. Have no clue what this is. No clue. Let's go out to the daily. So there's not much data. Let's see if this thing has more data on another. No, this is a fairly new coin, I'm assuming. Yep, all of us say the same. Fairly new. That's not how you want to open. You're trading well below the open. The ICO. Yeah, disgusting. Everything looks disgusting. Flow USDT 11% on the day. Yeah, see, these are moving a little bit better. KDA. But the thing is how much did these things come off, right? 84%. No, not a bear market. 84%. It doesn't look like it on log. You got to take log off. That's what it really looks like. Right? That's what it really looks like. When you're looking at it on log, you're like, that doesn't look bad. That's just a pullback. A nice 80% correction. RNDR, 13%. If we find something to trade, we'll trade it. Chances are everything's moved. Where's Algo? What's it doing today? It's one of my favorite ones to trade. It does move into daily res, so we can't trade that. What are you guys trading? Come on, chat. What are you trading? Solana USD. What altcoins are you looking for to have bigger bounces? What do you think of Flocky? I don't have any specific altcoins that I'm looking at right now for bigger bounces. Let's go look at Solana. Man, that thing got wrecked too, didn't it? $69%. It's trading, it's coming into daily res too. I do expect it to break, but I mean, if you're looking to buy it, you want to buy it at support. You don't want to buy it at resistance. And Flocky, do I have Flocky on here is the question. I do not. So let's go look at it. So this is Uniswap, Poloniex, Uniswap, Sushi Swap. So I don't trade this. Well, it looks bad on that. Let me see if it's on a different one. Let's look at it on this one. No, it's the same one. Why can't I find it on the other ones? I just seen more. So you must own this if you're wanting to look at it. I mean, it fell 80%. Like I said, take it off log so you can really see what it's done. So its entire bullish move has been retraced. Almost completely retraced. That explosive, all of that is gone. I mean, if Bitcoin gets a bounce, I could see these things getting a bounce too. This thing is trading for like 1/1,000,000th of a cent, but it's probably not the right one. You just said Flocky, and when I type Flocky in, I have a bunch of this crazy stuff here. So you didn't tell me like specifically. So I always revert to the USD pairs. You're red. You're barely green on the day. Everything else has been like Bitcoin's been green for the last 5 days, right? This is just now green today. It doesn't look good, bro. And the USD, you've already retraced all of it. That move, and you're lower than the low. Oh man, didn't know this was live. Yeah, I just decided to go live instead of making a video. Empire, how can we get better at reading candles like you do? Do you read any books or and practice? Yes, practice. That's all it is. It just takes you time. Once you look at enough charts, you're gonna start to see them for what they really are. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't look for chart patterns and stuff. I'm actually watching price. Like, legit price. What is it doing? What's it telling me? Not head and shoulders and things like that. They just, they don't apply to me. But yeah, just keep watching the videos, and it's very consistent. You'll start to pick it up over time. It just takes time. Audio is lagging for me. All right, so Heath, can I ask you to show how you push 1/3 of the position? Thank you so much. Okay, so the only trade that I took yesterday was on the XLK. So like I did the analysis on this, so I won't do the analysis of why I got long. But basically what I was looking for was the daily high, right? Yesterday. Once that got taken out, I just exited 2/3 of my position here. So everybody was probably looking short for this because everything said to short. There was only like one or two different things that was showing tendency for it to be bullish, and that was the fact that we could see a short squeeze and dollar weakness, right? And it opened out the gates weak, so I got long right here, 151. So when price trades up into my target, I drop 2/3 of the position. I exit those shares or units or calls, whatever it is that I'm trading. I just exit them. And then I have a hard stop moved above my original entry, which was here. So now if price trades back down to 150, 150, then that trade will be stopped out. It'll be closed out, the complete position. But I still have 1/3 on. The way you have to view that is it's unrealized P&L and it's the bank's money. All of my risk is off the table. All of it. I cannot lose money and I already made money. So that last 1/3, just put it out of your head. Like it doesn't exist, right? It does not exist. You just leave it alone. If it continues to push higher in your direction and the unrealized P&L becomes more substantial, then absolutely you can take it, right? Cut that in half. You just keep cutting it in half if it keeps growing. It's just a measure of, it's just a way to basically keep you in the position if you're on the right side of it on the swing trade. I don't know what else I can say about it. I mean, that's all it is. It's just me trying to maximize my potential profits because we don't know what the market's going to do, right? It might look like we do. Really good traders that can constantly nail these like awesome entries and makes your mouth water when you look at it. Like when you see that over and over again, it looks like we know what's going to happen, but we really don't. I really did not know yesterday when I took this trade if it was going to work or not, because I can't see into the future. So when I started to become a trader, my data showed me that when I tried to take all the profits, and wait for my target to get hit and then take all my profits, I was leaving a lot of money on the table because then the trade would go on and work. So when I decided to start taking 2/3 of the position instead of all of it, leave a little bit on, yes, that means that my target objective when reached, I will make less money. But if I'm on the right side of the trade, that 1/3% that's still open and risk-free, mind you, can become more of a potential profits. But usually those will get stopped out. It doesn't happen all the time. Every now and then you'll get lucky and nail a good one, but most of the time they will get stopped out because the market is constantly searching for highs and lows. If you get lucky and catch like a trend, for instance, then that 1/3 position size can literally make your whole year. And if you're just trying to learn how to trade, like if you've got less than 2 or 3 years under your belt trading, right now you're not trying to make money. Right now you're just trying to be a trader that is consistently profitable. You have to get to there before you can ever make money doing this. Ever. A lot of people, that's what they want to do, right? They're here to make money. They're not here to learn how to do it right. OMFG. Fugu says OMFG. And that was it. Nothing else. The Poloniex chart is frozen. I don't know what you mean. The Poloniex chart is frozen. It's a 1/3 runner. Correct. Yes. 1/3 of the position, you leave it to run and you don't care about it. Like you just put it out of your mind until the unrealized P&L gets substantial. If it gets substantial, then you can absolutely cut it in half by taking 50% of whatever profit is left on that 1/3 unrealized. It's just a way to it was just a way for me my data showed that I made more money when I did it that way, instead of just taking all the profits off. If I leave a little on, and plus it makes it a lot easier too, right? When your profit targets hit, you get most of the risk out of the all of the risk out of the market, and some profits to go with it. Now you're set and easy. You're playing with the casino's money. If you're having trouble pushing your 1/3, like if you're hitting consistent wins, but you still fail to push, that doesn't mean that, like, if you keep getting stopped out, it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. And as far as not being able to push, then you might be trading with too much money. Like, there could be a few different reasons why you're having trouble pushing that 1/3. You just have to put it completely out of your mind. If it's too much money left on the table for you, then take more. Take 75% at the initial, once your initial target gets met. You know what I mean? You have to, by me teaching you this stuff, guys, it's not necessarily me teaching you my strategy. I'm teaching you how to analyze price. So that way you can find the right levels to watch. It'll be up to you to build a profitable strategy out of that. That's why these videos are free. That's why I don't sell courses and stuff like that. It's going to be up to you. I'm trying to teach you just the levels to watch, the actual real supports and the real resistances that are inside of the marketplace, and not, what every other YouTuber out there is teaching, because that's all washed up garbage. Flocky on Poloniacs didn't have data past 24. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, apologies. Good morning, Stefan. Apologies on mispronouncing your name. So yeah, that was a fantastic trade. I made over $200 per call on that trade. And I can push it. I can leave the rest of the calls on to see what happens later on down the week. And since I already made, a decent chunk of change off of that trade, I don't care if those options expire worthless next week, because next week is the expiration on them, so they can expire worthless. Or they will, sorry, if it's below 151, if price is below 151. And let's see here. Let me go over here real fast. I don't know if MX is in the Trade Talk chat, if he's over here, but he asked me this morning about how to basically hedge his portfolio. Like, he owns a lot of Tesla shares, and I can't literally tell him where to buy or what to buy and this and that. I'm not a financial advisor, but the way that I do it is I buy puts in the money. Like, if I think price is going to roll over, like people are expecting the market to crash, so we'll go out to the SPY, for instance. So you can see here, I have an area that is just my targeted range where I am potentially looking for resistance. That doesn't mean that the market will find resistance here. It's just an area where I am looking for potential resistance. If the market cannot get above this area, then we look to buy puts, right? Now, since we don't know how far the market's going to go down, because we don't know how high the interest rates are going to get hiked, so we can't see into the future. So what you do is you don't buy a ton of puts, you just buy a few to hedge your shares. If you own 1,000 shares of Tesla, then you want to maybe buy, a couple hundred puts where you have like 200 or 300 shares. So it'd be like 3 puts. And you could buy 2 in the money puts and then 1 kind of far out of the money. Because if that far out of the money put hits, it's going to pay you more than the other 2 puts, essentially, because it was far out of the money when you purchased it. And just that little bit right there can absolutely hedge your portfolio. But I'm sure that you could, if you look on the internet, I'm sure there are free option strategies that teach you how to hedge your portfolios. I just do it with puts. There are multiple ways of hedging a portfolio. Multiple ways. Hundreds of strategies. Alexander Nikolov says, Heath, you're a legend. Thank you so much for that, my friend. How did you find the levels? That's a good question. I lost money for like 5 years in a row. Trying to do this. Trying to figure it out. How does it work? Why does it work? Like, that was what drove me. I wanted to figure this out. I know it works. I know it does. Because New York City has buildings that are 100-story tall. Right? And all of that was built from this. So there has to be a way to make technical analysis work, to actually work. Because there are so many people out there that doubt it, that call it garbage. Like your options guys, your delta neutral people, they say that technical analysis is garbage because you can't predict the future. But we know that these levels we know for a fact that they do, and they will provide decent trading opportunities. And so basically I just started watching how price reacted to everything. I was looking at highs and lows, opens and closes, everything. And what I found through time and practice, tons and tons and tons of it, that people have so many indicators on their charts, they lose sight of the one thing that matters. And the one thing that matters is price. It's the candles. The candles tell you everything you need to know. Every single thing. That's all they used back in the 60s and the 70s to make trading decisions, investment decisions, was price. That's it. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I simplified it. And it works. Right? Here is support on the SPY. That's your lowest close on a bearish close. Right? Then you traded away from it. So this level, if price ever comes back to it, might provide a reaction. Now, it didn't, right? Price traded well below it, but it did close back above it. So now we can go into smaller time frames and look for daily supports, which is what I did on the XLK trade. Let's just go back to it. Same scenario. Oh, by the way, guys, I just found this out, that this TradingView has its own platform now if you're still using it as a web browser. I didn't know this. This was just told to me like 2 days ago, and I don't have any idea how long it's been its own platform, but yeah, this is its own platform now. Let's go out here to the weekly real fast. I mean, I did just talk about all this in the video, but we'll talk about it again. So in this scenario, the XLK's weekly support held, right? Price opened right at it, traded under it, and then got back above it, and then boom, shakalaka to the upside. So going into the daily, that one wick on that weekly candle that was real low was from this day here. Then we had 3 bearish days in a row. But notice how they all close either at or above, except for this one, that price. 151.57. Well, that's your weekly support. That weekly bearish close. That is support. And this proves it. Look at these closes. Boom, boom, boom. Now, on the smaller channel, I put out a video about traps, how to identify a trap. When you close below, that is a trap. Or if you're above a resistance, that is a potential bull trap because you closed above it. So now people are looking for that direction to continue. So you got a slight close below daily and weekly support. I was assuming this was going to be a trap, and it turned out to be. If we go into the 5-minute chart, you can see that weekly level, how price traded under it there, and then spent 25 minutes under it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 closes under it, And then there's your break out on a 5-minute chart, this weekly level, and you never came back. Never came back. So that's why I wanted to buy there, because I know that it's weekly support, and I know that the last 3 days have respected it as such on the closing basis. Just a lot of time, a lot of struggling, a lot of practice, a lot of failure. Excuse me. This is really helpful. Can you please look at Atom USDT? Absolutely. If you have a favorite exchange, like if you trade this on a specific exchange, just let me know. If you don't give me an exchange, I'm going to default go to KuCoin, because that's where I trade at, is on KuCoin. So Atom's at support, daily support. Let's check where the weekly's at. You don't have a weekly. You do not have a weekly support. I mean, you could use this one or this one, but you traded lower. So, I mean, you might get a bounce from there, but it's not going to be as good as a bounce you would get if it was the last bearish close and then price trades away from it. For instance, like this support level down here, it will be an area to watch if price gets down there, and it will provide a tradable bounce. You just have to be patient, right? You don't want to typically start just buying or selling these levels. You want to be patient once price gets to it and watch how price is reacting to it, right? Then you can use other stuff to basically get your directional bias for the trade. But right now it's at daily support. Tomorrow's the close on the weekly. So since we don't have weekly support, we'll go down to 3-day, and there we got it. So one guy in the comment section of one of my videos says that the 3-day is not a valid midweek time frame to look at because, well, there's 7 days in a week. But on a regular trading week, there's only 5. But it's the best thing we got to a midweek candle. So I use it, right? You can see here you do have 3-day support. 3-day support and 3-day support. So your last 9 days, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, have respected this level, $28.38. So now we can go into the daily and you can see it, right? Here, here, here. And now you can tighten that area up by simply using the daily support. So right now, it does look like it has found support. But this is the thing. You haven't taken out this candle's high yet. So you need to wait for a bullish day to get above and preferably close above this candle's high. And then once that happens, if that happens, you can then put you another line here. Because now this will be support, potentially, right? Not always, but potentially. So this candle gets above this, makes a new high, closes bullish. The next day, you're going to watch for price to trade back down to this price here, 29, spot 48. You don't just randomly throw out a buy limit there. You wait. You can watch it on an hourly or 4-hour time frame. If you get a wick below, and then once price starts to trade back up above the level, that's when you can attack it for a potential entry. You take that trade, you put your stop under one of those swing highs or swing lows, and you just wait. Doesn't mean it's going to work. Nope, it does not. But that will be a higher probable trade than just randomly trading it anywhere else. I promise you. Once you start doing it, you will see that it's the best strategy that I have seen on the internet. Nobody has anything even closer to it. Some of my entries are so freaking tight. So like almost to the tick in some scenarios. A lot of times. But being patient and waiting for it to play out, that's the hard part. That's where people fall into trouble. But your daily levels are going to be the best levels to watch, even for intraday. Let's see if we can find a scenario. We'll see, like here, it didn't work, right? Here you found support. Then on this candle, you took out the high. So if you would have been waiting for price to trade back into this, it finally did, but you haven't got the bounce yet. So it doesn't always work. It will work a lot better if you're taking entries in the direction of the near-term trend. Trying to pick a bottom in an obvious downtrend, you're going to get stopped out a lot. But selling a rip in an obvious downtrend is going to work a lot. Here would have been your selling opportunity, right? You drop down. This was your bullish open here. Price trades below it, closes below it. Next day, trades below it, well below it. Then 3 days later, 2 days later, boom. Look at that. You touched that and then immediately reversed. That is a tradable event. You can take that short and take profits within, a matter of minutes. You just have to have a very narrow profit target if you're trying to trade it like that. Or you can wait, see how price reacts to it again. Again, you get a day where you trade up into that level, then you retreat. And on this day, you closed bearish. So now the level you would be watching would be this one on this day. And you can see when this day opened, eventually, price did trade above that level and then retreated. So on that retreat, that would be your entry because you're in a downtrend. You're at a high probable area. I mean, once people realize the effectiveness of it, I'm assuming the channel will just explode. Regardless, just because it is effective. A lot of people, yeah, Wes, for sure, absolutely. Bar replay, it is the best tool in all of charting softwares that's out there. It's a fantastic tool. Just joined watching from the star. Hi all. What's up, Ben? Okay, so I got it on high, ultra low latency, so the questions come quicker for me. Let me find out where I just was. If I missed your question, just repost it again. I apologize. It's hard to keep up. How do you identify supply zones and what do they do exactly? Okay, so all markets are traded on supply and demand. If there is a supply imbalance, price will fall. If there is a demand imbalance, price will rise. Knowing that, we have to figure out where are those areas where there was an imbalance. And the way you do that is the same way. This right here is in sell side imbalance. We know that it's a sell side imbalance because price trades away from it, right? So this candle open because it was a bullish day. This was a trap is what it was. But it was a bullish day. Trades up. So if price gets back under this candle's open and closes below it, then you have a potential area of supply because price traded there, had a good, solid, strong day. So there was demand there at one point in time, but then price traded away from it. So now anybody that got long up in here is now stuck. They're stuck. So they have to close their long positions. And to do that, they have to hit sell. So that creates supply, more of it. So you get another imbalance and price trades away. So any attempt to trade back up into that supply zone would be an opportunity to look for sell side entries. So that open would be your demand or your supply zone. And then same case for this, right? Because price is trading lower. on this day, so you have plenty of supply, pushes lower, trades up. This is a retest, right? Opens the next day, pushes up a little bit, continuation to the downside. Here's your pullback. On this day here, you had an imbalance of supply and demand in the market. We know that because this day opens and trades much higher than your previous 2 days, and it closes bullish. So there is demand here, but then your next day you retreat from that area. So that tells you that on this day, even though it found demand for a very short period, supply once again became imbalanced and price traded away. So that is going to be your new supply zone to potentially look for when price trades back into it. And here it is again. And once again, that is where the supply was. We know that for a fact because price traded away. That is your supply zone. And demand is exactly the same. It is the open of a bearish candle. But it doesn't always work. That's why you have to mitigate your risk. You have to use stop losses because your trades aren't always going to work. This would have been right here. Demand, supply, beat demand. You got a down day, and then the very next day you trade it out, and the next day higher. So a pullback into this area is where demand is or was. So we can look for it to potentially be there again, even though it didn't stop right at the level. It took 2 days before it verified it as demand. It was just another trap. Another trap right here is all it was. This was a liquidation event. Liquidating anybody looking to get long just off that level alone. Right? And you probably would have been stopped out again had you wait for the price to basically leave the area. Because this wick you did leave the area, but then you fell right back under it. So, I mean, this scenario would have been difficult to trade based solely on supply and demand. That is also why I implement support and resistance into my trading as well. Because supply and demand doesn't always hold, and support and resistance doesn't either. But it just basically gives you something more to look at. So instead of taking 37 longs here, trying to time the bottom, you can take one at supply. You get stopped out. You wait. Wait. This candle sets in a support, so you know it's support. You wait for this to see what happens. Next day, boom, there. This day, look at this. Test of support. And see ya. So this is where you're looking to get long again. So you could take 2 attempts at it and potentially get hit. If you take more than 2 trades in a specific, like you're trying to time like a swing trade directional, you definitely don't want to try to take more than 2 losses any given trade ever. Because then after that you're revenge trading, you're trying to inflict your will on the market, you're not being patient. There's 1,000 things that you're doing wrong. So it's just being patient is generally what people have trouble doing. And it's not easy because we don't know that price is going to stop here, right? Because here was support. Even though we know that this level is potential demand, we also know that that candle is support. Man, I cannot wait till I get my new computer. So here we go, trading back into it. So at this point, we have to think short side. We know where it is, but we'll just do it anyways, because this is the best way to do it when you don't know what's going to happen. So what we're potentially looking for now is to see if price reverses or what, right? Because you are in a near-term downtrend. Or you could say you're near-term sideways. I generally just go like 3 to 4 days out. I want to see what order flow's been doing for the last 3 to 4 days. So this right here would be very choppy. It would be difficult to make a decision, is what I'm trying to say. Because you have resistance here also. So price trades up into resistance and pulls back. We would have been looking for this open to hold a support. You closed below it. Next area to potentially watch would have been this. You can see that you sliced right through that. So you didn't have to be very patient on that. You probably knew within an hour or two what it was doing. Yeah, here it is right here. So it did bounce on the intraday chart, right? That's that daily demand. It did bounce. You did get a bounce. So, I mean, that was a tradable event intraday. It did bounce. But, boom, it was the wrong side of the trade. Because they were looking for the liquidity. This stuff over here. These lows. You even got under that low there. So that would have been time to start looking for reversals. And then you could keep your daily resistance, support, demand zones, all that. And then just play it out. See how price reacts. Boom. So even though you smoked the liquidity with this, that wasn't enough. Price comes back in, strafes these people here. Anybody got long there? And that's just what price does constantly. Just stopping people out. Moving left and right, up and down. Just killing everybody. But once you start to trade away, you can see here, boom, 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 boom. Now price is respecting that daily zone. Yeah, that's that daily. This is, let's get rid of this. That's just that wick low. This is that daily zone, right? Go back to the daily. Here, it's your old support. There. So intraday, multiple hours. Price is telling you doom, 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 doom. So you might be looking to potentially take a long at 26.89 with a stop under this swing low. You could set it up like that. It's more of a swing trade. It's not a scalp. Get the wick under it. And then you're looking for a 1.5 to 2 to 1 risk to reward. And we wouldn't have got triggered. But price showed you right here, because you traded under your daily support, but then boom, bounce back up above it. That was your line in the sand. It just takes time, patience, practice. You're going to fail a lot in the beginning. Just get used to it. Accept it. Embrace it. Yearn for it. Crave it. Make it your passion. And you will be able to learn. ETH BTC. Let's go look at it. But that's how you identify supply and demand. So is ETH still stronger than Bitcoin? No, not any longer, or it hasn't been for a little while. I'm thinking the 0.05 level was a good spot to buy this. I was wanting to buy it there. It just, once you got above it, it never came back. So I didn't. But it hasn't really went anywhere from then either. So you just be sitting in a hodl position for months. But it's, I mean, you're in a range. A longer near-term range. Well, it's a vast range. It's not near-term. There's plenty of tradable opportunities inside of it. It does look like it's retreating. Are you looking to buy it? No, I wouldn't buy it. I don't see any reason to buy it. That's pretty momentous. Boom. Right? In fact, you got to get above this. Because that's where people are going to be looking to sell. Because it is potential supply. And then the resistance is there. Right? So this is your zone that you got to get above. Now, if it does get above and then comes back in and holds it as support, then you could potentially look for buying opportunities, but you can only target here because that's how price works. It finds a level, holds the level until the imbalance happens. Once the imbalance happens, price leaves the level and finds a new level because there are new orders coming in and still setting there. So price is just like moving up and down a ladder, but sideways. Let's see, where's that tool? So like this. Right? But you have to wait for this to hold. This could take 2 to 3 days if this occurs. As far as, is there a trade to take on it right now? No. I mean, this isn't a bullish engulfing. You did close higher, but you didn't take out the high until now. So if you want to buy it, the only place to look to buy it is here. If you close a daily under this, then it's not a buying opportunity. If you're not closing dailies under that, then you could take a chance at it. I don't know if it's going to go up or down, but that's the zone where if there is a potential buying opportunity on it, it would have to be there. Or there, I guess. I mean, that's a little bit high in the range, but I would rather get a wick to here. Longer term hodl, I mean, you're getting a momentous move down. So price traded up and it's repricing back down to the lows. So, I mean, the range has been holding. You can see that. You don't need me to tell you that, right? You can see that you do got some sort of a trend thing going on here. Like a range. So, I mean, people will be looking to buy it here. Just because of that. But as far as the indicators goes, I mean, you're bearish. You're in the bearish control zone. You're just now popping out of oversold regions. And there's no point in looking at any of the indicators or any momentum. When I look at moving averages, I just basically look at them as momentum. I'm not looking at like taking entries off the moving averages. I just want to see how they're structured because it can show you where the momentum is. Like once you lose this 21 here, you've seen the momentum just boom. See ya. But I don't use them to trade. I just like want to see what's happening. And you're starting to circle down, but this thing has been bouncing in and out of these moving averages. So it's not really giving you an edge. The only edge that you have on this asset currently is that it's potentially coming into a zone where people will be looking to buy it. But you are in a downtrend. The bears are in control of this asset. Trading view bar replay. Go back 6 months. Find your daily open, high, low closes going on to 1 hour and watch them candles form. Do that for hours. I've been doing it since I woke up this morning. It's what I did. I did it for years and years and years and years. Oh my God, there's a lot more comments now. Just want to thank you for your vids. It's my pleasure, my friend. Thank you for your support. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning, Timothy. What a nice surprise to catch Heath live. Yeah, the internet's working. So I said, what the hell? My girl's at work, so got the place to myself. All right, bro. Thank you. Patience is the key for sure. Yes, absolutely. You cannot be patient enough. I did a little bit, Yair. I can go look at it again, though, briefly. NASDAQ and the S&P. So let's look at SPX 500. We're looking for it to potentially come into a zone. That is not. This is the one I want. So let's go to the weekly. This is where we're ultimately looking for it to go. Up into the $45, $36 area. The 618 or the 50% retracement of last week's decline. You do have this support zone also that was broken down through. Boom. So this area could offer up some resistance. So this is our targets for this week on the SPX. So this week coming, Monday to next Friday, we'll be looking for it to trade up into this region. And then whatever happens there, we'll have to wait and see. But it does look good. I mean, that was a good close. It closed green. So you could expect some continuation off of it. There was a lot of people stuck. A lot of people shorting these lows, especially because these wicks, these two wicks, boom, boom, that's sell side pressure to retail. It's not, but that's what they think it is. That's a pullback. That's all it is. So that was the target, and it got hit. Boom. Once you get above that, if price gets above that, and you can see this thing rip. That's why you got such a good day on XLK. So many people were stuck. Once you got over that high, it was just see you later. Get those people stuck, and you will see a nice bounce. Let's go into this over here because I have the NASDAQ on my Forex. And it looks almost the same. It's weaker than the SPY though. I just removed my indicators. I meant to do the drawings. It's lagging ass computer. So let's go to the weekly and see where it is. Oh, it's much higher. Yeah, this is much weaker than the SPY. So your intra-week target on the NASDAQ would be 15,031 and 15,177. Now, this isn't such a good close on the NASDAQ. See, the SPY closed, the S&P closed well above the previous week's close. This one didn't. This one closed right at last week's close. Not extremely strong. If you go into the daily, you'll see it. So it looks okay, but it needs to get above daily res. If you get above daily res, I think you have a clear path, especially, I mean, this would be my near-term bullish target. Right here. This is what I'd be targeting on the NQ next week. So Monday, right? Potentially look for this thing to open up, trade down to demand, and then see a bounce, and then target this swing high here. So on the open, I would want to see something like this. Boom. And then boom. Right? Monday, this is what I'd be looking for. You don't actually have to go all the way down to daily. You can really find support on hourly levels as well. So this is Ray's reaction to me saying that I didn't know TradingView had a had its own platform. Love you, Ray. Guy gives me crap all the time. Love him to death. But yeah, on the NASDAQ, that's what you'd be looking for. You want to see like a stab lower to find some area of support. And I'd be potentially looking for longs targeting that wick right there. Because that does look indeed like it is going to be the target. Now, people will be trying to take shorts right here based on this supply. Your hourly supply. And you did fall short of it Friday. So that's why you could potentially look for that stab lower. But it doesn't mean it will happen like that, right? Doesn't mean it'll happen like that. That's just like something like that sort of narrative would be like what I would be expecting to happen. Or wanting to happen. Uh-oh. What's going on? Yeah, we are dropping pretty amount of frames. Pretty amount. Lots and lots of them. But yeah, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a little bit more bullishness. I at least want to see that midpoint test of that weekly range expansion, because I mean, that's where you could see some more sell side come back into the market. That's where you could see a lot more supply. People looking to re-exit or re-enter. Good morning. 13 degrees here. Yeah, it's cold here too, Greg. It's not 13 degrees, thank God, but it's well in the 40s. And that's cold for South Florida. Sand and mana. Yes. Absolutely. Metaverse. So they had a nice little pop. Once again, they're finding resistance. That was a trap. So I would look to short this right now, but only because like I would be looking for a day trade, right? Nothing big, nothing massive. We have support here, right? So this is like how I'd frame out a trade. Because you're in a near term, you're in a downtrend. You've been going up for a few days, but your overall strength is down. So like if I was looking to trade based on that signal alone, the signal is you got a close above resistance and then immediately rejected. So as long as it doesn't trade down there right now, I would be watching either this area here and this area here for potential bearish entries. Looking for price to trade back up into this or this, get short, put my stop above that, and target this. Right? And you could get like a 3 or 4 to 1 out of that. If you take that trade and you get stopped out, it's not my fault. I gotta say that. But that's how I would trade it. It's not a terrible bearish candle though, for sure. Like it could come down here and find support and see ya. So the trade might be to wait and take the long. You can generally pull out 2 different trades in each day, as long as it's not completely sideways. You could generally get a long and a short. And some guys that trade professionally, they're what I call tick traders. They're just taking entries and letting the market trade a couple ticks from their entry and they exit. And they just repeat that process 1,000 times a day. I just can't do that. It's so frustrating and annoying. But they have software. They have bots. Right? But yeah, it looks okay. Everything's bearish. That's because Bitcoin's bearish. The whole crypto world is bearish. This isn't on log. And you can see you've lost 50% of its entire value. Yeah, you hit 69% on those lows. So I mean, a bounce, yeah, probably. But I don't know if I'd want to buy it at the high end of the range. If I was going to potentially look for bullish entries, I would want it back down here around daily support. If you try to buy it intraday, I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that. So yeah, I would probably watch for the trade entry for the short on this one. And then Mana's doing the exact same thing. Let's see how many days we're bullish on Mana. See, same thing, guys. This looks more like a bear flag than it does anything. So be careful on buying it down here. If you do buy it, at least wait for it to get back to here, right? $2.08. Maybe that's a good spot to buy it. Up here is not a good spot to buy it because you're potentially buying it right before the pullback. So if anything, there's no daily area here for me to short it off of. I mean, this is your breakdown candle, so the midpoint of it, maybe that's why it's being sold. See, there's your breakdown candle. I don't see what it broke down. There it is right there. This support. So there it is. That's why you're having a bearish reaction there. That's your breakdown candle. That's your support break. So generally the 50 and 618 retests of those breaks, potential shorting opportunities, and it's working. So what I would do, knowing that now for sure, is be looking to take a short. On this one, not so much, because support is closer. You've almost hit it already, so the trade is already done. But if price trades back up into supply, once again, we know that is supply because of how price reacted. You put in a close above resistance and you rejected. That's a trap. So if price trades back up into this, get short, stop, target here. That's about a 3 to 1, 2.5 to 1. But looks like it's coming into resistance. Good morning, Heath. Yeah, all right, that's Henry. Got you, Henry. Heath is so dank. Thank you, Big Boozer. This has been the best explanation of supply and demand I've heard so far. I mean, it's pretty much how it works. That's all it is to it. Thank you so much for being here. Could you see the link? Oh, link USDT? Yes, absolutely. Once again, you didn't give me exchange, so I will revert to KuCoin because that's the exchange I trade on. It's not as bullish as Bitcoin. It's coming into daily resistance here. That's your breakdown candle there. Nothing major though. You barely, yeah, I don't like it. So I would probably just focus on daily res. If you're looking to buy it, your next potential target would be old support at 1774. I wouldn't buy it into resistance though. So same scenario. If you want to buy it, wait for another support test. Your support is at 15.22. Does not mean that support will hold. That's just where I would want to buy it if it holds close to this. And then you can target resistance again. But you're buying a falling knife. It has been stalled here for several days, and you might get a big pop. It's just, it's just one of those things. There's no way to know if it's going to happen. So buy support if you're looking for that to happen. Wait for support. Let's go look at the weekly real quick. Yeah, that was a stretch too. That's a massive stretch. Boom. Smoked weekly support. But it could be finding a bottom here because even though you smoked weekly support, it's not even close to the midpoint. So price ran out. So you were extremely bearish, but once you started getting down into these prices, you started running into demand. Here. That's just a target, but that target was liquidated here. So that target is gone. I'm just looking at this. So this is your weekly demand. See how it held, there, and then boom. So that's the level that I would watch. This level here. 18.39. And you need to get above that if you're looking for bullish entries. Because that right there is potentially another short entry. On link. Timothy Sham says Heath is the real one. Thank you so much, my friend. Rabid Peanut LOL. Don't know what he's LOLing. Am I bullish? Alvaro, are you bullish or bearish midterm on Bitcoin? Midterm, I'm neutral. I think that the bear market has started. I think the bear market started when we, on this channel, were telling people to start to loosen up their risk. Up here. Now people are wanting to know what to do now that it's all the way down here. This is when you should have been exiting your positions. And I laid out probably 15 videos explaining why when it was up here. But Yeah, I mean, right now I'm neutral. I'm looking for like just sideways price action. Just sideways garbage for a while. Right? Something like this. And then a low. Something like that. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, right now, I mean, if you want to accumulate, you can start accumulating now. Just understand that you got like at least a 5-year window on that position if you're starting now. I would say probably midpoint of this year to the end of this year would be a better time to start accumulating, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. There is no legal merit on it. I mean, there is a little bit based on past performances of Bitcoin and its bear market cycles. You know, they usually last a year, a little over a year. And then you get that sideways chop. Why won't that go away? Oh, that's why. I'm on that stupid thing still. Grr. Midterm, just look for sideways choppiness. You closed above demand on a weekly, right? And then you traded back in and tested it some more, and you're getting a slight bullish pop. But the thing is look how this thing's been getting crushed. Every pop in price has been sold off. Every midpoint, boom, there, down. So is it going to happen again? Well, it's still under it. But I do have a very near term bullish target on that. Is Bitcoin selling off as well? Damn sure is. Nice. Look at that. What a trap. It's so beautiful the way it works. It's just like, it's like a melody. There's demand. I mean supply. Look at this. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Close above. Boom. That's what you're waiting on. So now the next support is here. Right? If you close, this is your real next support though. I mean, but I would be willing to take a short scalp on the kern from here to here. So my entry stop would be something like this. Right? That is what I'd be looking for. And it's the where it is and how it's set up. I'm willing to eat a stop on this trade. And that's all we do as traders. We find areas where you got high potential for the trade to work. So a retest of 37,874 spot 18 might be worth a short. Let me pull up my brokerage page. I'll take it with you guys. I ain't got nothing to do. We'll stream live all damn day today. I don't care. Let me pull up my broker and we'll take this if it gives us an opportunity. Derivatives, please. Might not be able to pull it up. Why my computer thinks about that. Let me read some more of these comments. Danny says, I'm 22 years old and I follow your work for a year now. I'm profitable. Fantastic, my friend. For the last year, I made 82%. Jesus. Bro, you're doing better than me. Uh-oh, I think I died. Let me see if it died. I don't know. It might have died. We'll keep going. Nice work, though. Man, 82% in a year. That's a hell of a return, my friend. BTC hard rejection. Yeah, I'm seeing that, too. If price has already traded back into a supply zone and traded away, then later trades back into the same zone, is likely price will trade away again. Not necessarily. What you want to see is you want to see a retracement. You want to see like a rejection from that area. If you're on the right side of the market, then it should be like going away quick. You don't really want to see another retest of it. Occasionally, like if you're looking at an hourly time frame or something like that, if you get one hourly test up into it and then it rejects but then comes back, that's okay. You know, a couple hours, but anything more than that, I'm exiting. On the weekends, it's different, but like in the FX market, if price comes back to my entry within 1 hour without hitting my target, I'm closing the trade. I am not going to eat a stop on it. If price comes all the way back to my entry, then chances are I'm wrong. Because when I hit those entries just right, I might be in the trade for an hour and I'm out because it hit my target already. That's when you're on the right side of the market. When you take an entry and then it almost immediately starts to go in your direction. Those are the good ones. Those are the good ones. If price is dilly-dallying around your entry for like an hour and then an hour 30, 2 hours, yeah, it's starting to smell like you might not be on the wrong side or you might not be on the right side of the trade. And you can get that on the weekends, right? Just because you get a little bearish candle here. This bearish candle is not even that big, right? This one was bigger, and look what happened. But that was after several hours of downside into a support. You're just getting exhausted up here, so now price wants to search for more buying or for more demand. So that'd be a specific spot, a spot to look. Potentially, like I said, they don't always work out. Price can shoot right back up above that. It just depends on who's buying what, when, where, and how. But you are at 8-hour resistance also. All right, let's go back to the 8 hour so I can show for any newcomers. Here's 8-hour res. Right there. That's your 8-hour resistance. So you traded above it and stopped out everybody, and now you're seeing a slight pullback. Right? Just stopping out these people here. And that close above and then rejection, that's what we call a trap. That's a trap. That's to pull people off sides, to churn in more liquidity, drag it in. Muchas gracias. You are welcome. If price has already traded back. Yeah, that's what I just read. Okay, thanks Heath. Great as always. You were welcome. Heath, you have a potential, bro. Thank you, Wes. Heath is a G. All the women love him when she talks about price action. I don't know about that. Got my girl already. I'm happy with her. Got in at 13. Must have been something I was looking at earlier. Can I look at Solana? Yeah, we looked at Solana. We'll look at it again real fast. It got hit hard too. Yeah, it got hit real hard. It's just disgusting when it does stuff like that. Like, because all this was to generate more liquidity for the down move. Everybody that got short here, hopefully they took profits on this leg lower. Broke down below support. Trap. Goes back up. Snipes everybody that got short here. And then it moves. So brutal. Brutal price action. Solana got wrecked. It's off 60%. 68.9%. You're trading into daily res right now. So, I mean, there is daily resistance. You didn't test it, but you came real close. Everything's rejecting because Bitcoin is, right? That's how these things trade so much alike. So much alike. Solana looks weaker than Bitcoin, though. Solana looks like a sell. Once again, same scenario, same position, same everything. 96.61. Because basically all these things made supply at the same area. There's your first test of supply, instant rejection. But it's not a big rejection, but it is a rejection nonetheless. So now you're potentially looking for that, and your target would be this. Oh, entry, stop, target. Doesn't mean it'll work. It's just what it looks like. Thoughts on Cosmos, USD, Coinbase. A lot of people said this thing, if it's at 30 bucks, it's cheap. It's a good buy. And it's at 30 bucks again. Under 30 bucks again. What is all this nonsense? Must have been a demonstration of some sort. Yeah, that's just, what people are looking at, like 30 bucks for this asset's cheap. It is at the highs. 10 bucks from the highs. 30 bucks is, but I mean, it's your time frame. Right now it's in the support and it's trying to break it today. So whereas everything else is green on the day, Atom is red. There is another support zone right below it though. And that gets you underneath these stops. So I would probably wait for this one before I look to buy it. But if you can't get closed below this one, and if you want to buy it, then you can. But just understand you're buying it in a downtrend. I mean, you can't get no more clear than that, right? You fall, you bounce, you fall. And you're like, this is the target. As long as that remains intact, I don't know if I'd be looking for longs. 27.34 is the target. Because on this stab lower, you did not hit it. So retail sees this as buying pressure. So they're getting long right now. Which is going to generate enough liquidity for that final stab lower. Doesn't mean it will happen. It's just what I would be looking for. I would want to see that get taken out first. Aaron said I said I was going to zero with my marker. I didn't mean it was going to zero. That was just a fluke. So yeah, I'll give it a couple of days to see what it's going to do. If you're looking to buy it, for sure. For sure. Give it a couple of days. Won't hurt. ICP. All right, hour and 30. We'll go a little bit longer and then we'll wrap it up. I can't wait to see this. It did bounce. But, man, that bounce got faded. We were looking for it to bounce here, and it did bounce. But it got faded bad. Look at that. Man, that was a good one there. Multiple days. Just straight down. So, same thing. You're at daily resistance. But, I mean, that was a lot of downside. So, can it bounce? I was looking for Bitcoin to bounce. But maybe Bitcoin wants to go back down to daily support before it does. So, watch Bitcoin because these things trade just like Bitcoin. So, if you do want to buy it down here because you think this is the low, look for potential buying opportunities around 1959. You close the daily below that, then it's sayonara. This is all-time lows for this asset. Yep, you're at all-time lows. Gonna ride this thing down to all-time lows. Yeah. So, I mean, all-time lows, bro. All-time lows. You can't get it any cheaper than that. I'd stay away from it. Can you look at Luna? We looked at Luna just like 5 seconds ago. I don't use any indicators, only price. I see you don't use any indicators. I do. I use the RSI and only on the daily though. Oh, I deleted all my indicators accidentally. So let's do this. These are the indicators I use. I use the RSI only on the daily. I don't care about any other price or any other time frame above daily. Daily, weekly, monthly, I'll look at it. But anything lower than a daily, I don't. And then I use moving averages and EMA, MA combo. And these are the ones right here. Inputs are here. 21, 55, 100, 200, 10, 366, 200. But I don't use those always, all the time. I really only use these four. 21, 55, 100, 200. So, and that's just to give me, like, not a directional bias, but like a momentous bias. Where's momentum at, right? On the daily, on this asset, you're below the 50, so we know the bears are in control. Plus, you're under the 21, so the bears are in control. So we look for short side entries. And I did put a trade up on this asset the other day that was taken while we were doing a live stream. Or that happened while we were doing a live stream. On Swiss franc, Japanese yen, we were looking for this to go lower on this day, and it did. Boom, shakalaka. So that's the only reason I use them on the daily. I don't care about them on any other time frame. It's just to basically let me know who's in control of near-term price, because I'm a near-term trader. So if we're below the 50, below the 21, I'm looking for short entries at supply or resistance. Tesla got a bounce off weekly support, but looks like supply's on straight above. What say Heath? Let's go look at Tesla. Weekly support. Yeah, Tesla got wrecked. It did. It did. You are correct. Didn't quite get there, but it did get a bounce from that. It's still extremely weak. It did not have a great day Friday, where other assets did have a great day. So this is closed. Here was last week's. It didn't even test the 50% retracement, and then boom, down. So now we're going to do it like this for this week. So moving into the week, you can have a bullish target, but I would only have it up to about there. And that's also where supply is also. I don't know that it's going to go up there in reverse. I'm just saying, if I were taking long trades like I did on the XLK, it would be to there. That's my top profit target. We get up there, I'll close out the rest of those calls. Because there you might find some resistance. We know that the market is pricing in something for the rate hikes more than likely. But I don't see the market hating one 25 BPS hike, right? I just don't see it. So what's been priced in may be it for now. We have to wait and see. You're welcome, my friend. Could you take a look at ILVUSDT? Yeah, that's a new one for me. ILVUSDT. KuCoin has it. Alluvium. I have no clue what this thing does. It might have more price action on another. No, it's a fairly new asset. Awesome. So it's back down near the ICO. That's never a good sign. It trades for a lot of money though, so that's good. $385 was the open. So it's trading at daily res, same as everything else. There's daily resistance. It's having trouble getting above that, and it needs to. And this is the thing too. You broke down already below support on this. So I have more of a near-term bearish bias. Well, not really, because you took out that high. So never mind. I take that back. This could be a trap. See how you broke down below support? But the fact that you're right back up testing resistance again, I would say this is a trap. So what I would look for is I would look for a push. I wouldn't look to buy it just yet. But if you get a stab back down to 563.80, like this level here, that might be a fantastic spot to look for potential entries targeting resistance again. Because if this is a trap and price is setting that trap up right now, watch this zone here for a daily close. If you close a daily below that, what I'm talking about is irrelevant. It's gone. But if you stay above that, that could be a buying opportunity. And you could definitely turn that into a trade. But support, like, I don't use the support on the trap candles unless it ends up not being a trap. If it does indeed get sell side directional again, then this isn't a trap, right? But since you took out the high, we have to treat it as a trap. So I would be looking to buy this asset just because of that one candle right there. I would watch 563.805, and I'm gonna mark that as an alert. That's because the log is on. Will it get even down there? I don't know, but that's where I would want it to go to check it for a potential buying opportunity. And like I said, this would be your primary target at resistance, would be your primary target. You take most of your profits off, move your stop to break even, and let house money ride. Boom. Because if everything is going to bounce and have a very good bounce, then that whatever you leave on could pay you way more than the initial trade did. Right? And you'll be fantastically positioned at the lows. So, but it is indeed, in a downtrend. You guys always have to remember that. That's key. That's the key. Downtrends usually pops in price, gets sold into. Chain link, we looked at it briefly. I'll go look at it. It's at resistance. I mean, it's going to be the same for most all of these things. Daily res. So no trap here because you got lower close, lower close, lower close, lower close, bounce. So this support test is 1520. Is this where someone said they got 13? Yeah, they probably did. So they bought the wick low. That is risky. But you nailed the bottom so far. If you bought on 13, man, that's risky. That is literally buying a falling knife. So far, it's been very good to you. You're $3 up on the trade. But I would look for 1522, a potential, see if that area holds. Or you can watch this candle's open, 1548. Definitely don't buy it up here. If you break out, then look for 1664 to hold as possible higher low support. And Brian says PSTG long. I hope this looks better than it did the other day. Ugh. It doesn't. Man, they destroyed this thing. But they've destroyed it before. If I'm looking for the S&P 500 to find support and move higher, then I don't see why this thing wouldn't. You traded well above your 618 retracement on the previous week's range. But you took out support also with your previous week's range. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think I would have to wait until you take out this week's high before I could look for long entries on this one to verify this as a trap. Because you traded up into the 618 and you've seen a pullback. The only reason you're up here this high again was because of Friday. Was because the SPX, XLK, all of the spiders got a big bounce. Yeah, see? Big bounce. And then struggled at support. There's a daily trap. But see, you didn't even trade up and take out the previous day's high. This one looks weak relative to the S&P 500. You got a big bounce when price traded down into this. Big, strong, bullish day. That's an engulfing. So people bought the test of the open. That's what they were waiting on. So that's why you got a bullish day Friday. They front ran the test of the open of that bullish engulfing. Bullish engulfings work a lot better when an asset's in an uptrend. I guess if you go way out, this is in an uptrend, but I just don't like this. That's a lot off this real quickly. It doesn't trade very much. I mean, very far either. Yeah, this is in bear market territory. Well into bear market territory. Oh, be careful. Watch 24.15, a daily close below that, and you're going lower. You're going to close this gap. See this gap right here? If price closes a daily below 24.15, I would probably be targeting that gap fill. That wick was not nearly enough to consider that gap filled. Gaps do not have to fill, ever. That gap can stay there for the rest of this asset's life. But since price is so close to it, I would probably wait for that. So yeah, I don't like it for a long. Not really. Coinbase stock, yeah. Oh man, I know I bought some of this at 255. Obviously, I'm losing money on that, but it's just a hold. This is a long-term hold. I'm holding this as long as I'm holding Bitcoin. But I bought it at 250. We'll see. I mean, it's getting crushed. It's probably going to continue to get crushed as long as Bitcoin is. But it got a bounce on Friday as well. A lot of risk assets did get that bullish day on Friday. So they're trading the same way. So this looks just like the PSTG we just looked at. Big, strong day. Then a couple days of sideways to bearish. And then a bullish day on Friday. But you can see how this one's inherently weaker. Just like the PSTG one. Or PTSG, whatever. Because you didn't even test the previous day's high. You almost did. The open and rejected. Excuse me. Sawlink 1420 didn't have the huevos. Yeah, me neither. All right, yeah, I'll take a look at pound NZD and then we'll wrap it up. GBP NZD. Bam. This thing is rocking and rolling. NZD must be extremely weak right now. So I definitely wouldn't want to short it. It is bullish AF. I mean, you're running into exhaustion territory. You did not print divergence on this last push higher either. So keep that in mind if you're looking to short this. I damn sure know you ain't looking to buy it. The trade on the upside was down in here, targeting these wicks. So boom, that would have been where I'd have targeted, and then this would just be 1/3 of the position still left on if it didn't get stopped out. But you are, I mean, you did just take out those swing highs, and you do have a daily supply right there, but It's so strong. Stepping in front of that, what has to happen on this is it has to chill out. I mean, it is strong. Just straight up. So I don't know if I'd want to try to step in front of that or not. That's odd because most other pound pairs are not looking like that. They got like this push and then they started to roll over. This thing is just see ya. Straight up. That's just all from NZD weakness. New Zealand weakness. So you could potentially find resistance there. Let's go look at the weekly, but there is no short setup. Oh, that's also weekly supply. So yeah. Yeah. You see how you closed above this weekly resistance? That would be that's where you could potentially start to look for, intraday shorts, but let it reject first. Don't just, as soon as you get up in there, look to short it, because price can just keep running, and then eventually later on start to retrace a bit. But it's strong. I mean, if you bought it and you're still in it, keep holding it. That's the thing. When you're in a winning position, you do not have to do anything at all. You are winning, right? The people that are losing money, they're the ones that have to make the moves. When you're winning, you do not have to do anything. People will because they get nervous, but you technically don't have to do anything. Set your profit targets. Once your profit target gets hit, maybe you start to break even, let the rest ride. All right, guys. I gotta cut it loose here. Don't want to stay on all day, I guess. Probably wouldn't be a good idea. But I didn't want to do the Bitcoin video anyways. But we're gonna watch Bitcoin, see what it does. Let me go back over here real quick and just wrap it up. It did not give us an entry. We were gonna potentially look to take an entry, but only trading a short side entry down to the next support zone, which is down here. I would take profits up there though, because that would be a fantastic 2-to-1 risk to reward. Didn't quite get up there. It looks like it's using the wick as supply. So you probably won't get that entry now. I was afraid of that. But in the near term, we're only looking for a day trade short. I am looking for potential buying opportunities on Bitcoin. Down here is 8-hour support. So if we get a trade back down into there, this is where I'll potentially look for buying opportunities, targeting this wick high. That would be my bullish target for this week coming. So 38,946 on this exchange, Bitstamp. It's a different price on Coinbase. So that's going to be my target, but I want to get it as support. So this or here, right? This or here, support. We could look for it to potentially move higher. But this is the 618 retracement. This wick is of last week's decline. So it may not go up there. It is in a downtrend, and pops in price usually get sold into in downtrends. So always keep that in mind. When you're taking long positions in a bear market, you are on the wrong side of the market. Keep that in mind. All right, guys, with that, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll be around all day. If you got any questions, just drop it down in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer them. Make sure you trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.